Roberta, I would like at the beginning to thank University of Leeds for inviting me to present this presentation, talk, speech, and many thanks to Dr. Roberta Morano for her follow-up and preparations. Firstly, this talk is mainly about talking about nonverbal communication and Arabic culture in general. I might get some examples from the Gulf cultures and in Qatari culture in particular, reflecting on some of the material I collected for my book, gestures and signs and nonverbal communication in Qatari culture, which is this. And I hope that you will enjoy it. I've tried in my presentation to make it as appealing to a general audience as I could. Firstly, forgive the typo in Qatar Universität, as I thought that this is closer to German than English. So forgive the mistake. Okay, and yes, welcome everyone with open arms, as we say in English, in Arabic as well. If we receive someone with open arms, we welcome you all for this talk. I will do my best in 40 minutes to cover the aims of the talk and try to explain some of these signs or semiotics, i.e. appearances that you can see in the photo. What do they mean? Is there any philosophical differences between the different cultures and what are they? I will try to lay the foundation by explaining those things that you have in the aims box. But I will not spend much time. Probably I would leave it to those who are interested in doing further research or further reading to have further look at them. But I will concentrate on the images, and this is the main part of what we're dealing with in this talk. So ahlan wa sahlan, and as we say in Arabic, ادخل باليمين, i.e. enter with your right, with the right foot. So ahlan wa sahlan, and right is always good in the Arabic culture. There is a language in her eye, her cheek, her lip, nay, her foot speaks. This is Shakespeare. So we have curiosity and sometimes it's obsession about the signs. When you a lot of people talk about the Freemasons, different signs and different handshakes, and every one of them means something, and Freemasons would know each other from these handshakes and different gestures they use. Well, I'm not going to talk about that, nor going to talk about the Bush's Longhorns sign, whether it's true or false. Yet this culture is being there for long. It's been used by the monks in different Catholic, in particular Catholic church, where they developed different signs, and where the head would talk and the mouth would talk, as we see in this old manuscript on the side of the slide. It's not only that, even bikers would use hand gestures, and each one of them would mean something. Even if they would use their foot to communicate with the other drivers and to communicate with each other as well. So each one of them would mean something, and bikers would know some or all, and it would be good to learn a little bit. Not only that, even mini drivers have their own signs and gestures, and they would communicate using these gestures in different places, because Mini was created to be cool and to be for the cool drivers. So Mr. Bean is Mr. Cool here. However, we have missing link when we talk about nonverbal communication. Uh, Language skills are not only, and I'm a teacher of language and teacher of communication and learned even ancient languages, to treat language as reading, speaking, listening, and writing. This is oversimplifying the language itself, because language is about semantic context, it's about pragmatics and semiotics. And for those who are specialists in pragmatics and semiotics would know what we mean by that. So language is not only the four skills, it's beyond those four skills. And when we teach a language or learn a language, we're not talking about only communication. We mean it's about the otherness. It's about accepting the other. We learn the language to build bridges as communicators, or those who work in communication. They and cultures, they would define the relationship between different cultures as in 3 C's, and some of them made it 4 C's or 5 C's. The main 3 C's are: the first C is, do we communicate or do we establish our relationship through conflict, or do we establish our relationship through collaboration or cooperation? So each one of them is different from the other, and we wish to reach that bridge where we would not coexist only, but collaborate and communicate properly as cultures. So please, Jane. Yes. Okay. Okay. We have two great figures here on the slide, Chomsky and Delheims. And Delheims came with the idea after Chomsky's linguistic competence, with the idea of communicative competence. And his communicative competence was about strategic competence, grammatical competence, discourse competence, and social-linguistic competence. Social-linguistic competence is not only about the language, it's about the context of the language. It's about how do we, where do we speak the language, the culture that developed that language, everything that would make the sender of the message make that particular message in that fashion. So this is the competence and the performance. The competence, sometimes it's being able to tell things in your mind, but the performance is something else, is to tell it, to speak it out. So beyond words, we have, when we talk about nonverbal communication, we should not confuse it with the body language on one side, or the sign language that's used for the deaf community, or the emotional expressions that we all share as human beings, but it's different thing. And that thing, the nonverbal communication, is a body language that it's meant by itself. So a message that we create and we encode, then send it through a signal in a channel to be received by the receiver by decoding that message, i.e. the receiver, when we send him a message, we mean that message, and he would understand the message in the exact way that we meant it. And that's different from the body language, because the body language is about analyzing what's going on in the mind of the other. So as example, when they analyze a politician standing this way, sitting this way, holding his arms on his chest, they might say this is defensive. Well, It could be defensive, and it could be that I'm bored, or I want to rest my arms. I've been leaving my arms on my side for long, or someone just scratching his near his ear. They would say that he's lying. Well, this is a lot of analysis goes on here. What if he needed to scratch the side of his ear? Sorry for coming near the camera. Uh, One of the great Arab linguists, Al-Jahid, said that the language or the expression of the language is about five elements. One is the word, the sign, the computation, the script, and the situational context. Uh, Al-Razi added even further to that in the 12th century when he said motions as well, in addition to what Al-Jahid has said. Uh, Darwin was the father, I would say, of the analyzing the emotions in the modern time, but the real father of semiotics, and probably to a certain extent nonverbal communication, could be considered as the predecessor when he coined his new term semiology or semiotics, and he explained that the language is a system of signs that express ideas. So it's not only the writing, the alphabet, the deaf mute, the military signals, etc. I won't go through these couple of slides to win time, because I do understand that time is a major element in the Western world, and they might stop me when the clock signs to 40 past. However, Gracian, he had the pragmatics. When he discussed the pragmatics, every sentence that we make, or a message, whether the message is by words or the message by nonverbal communication, should observe the following: the quantity, the quality, the relevance, and the manner. And then later on, Sperber and Wilson developed the Grice's idea, and they talked about a very important thing, which is the contextual elements and the implications of the verbal and non-verbal communication. So all should observe as well the politeness and the politeness theory. So and in the politeness theory, we have something called the face. And the face in the Eastern cultures, in particular, they develop that understanding of a face, that the face should be preserved, i.e. in Japan, as example, they call it the mintsu, to give a face or to lose a face. In Arabic, we call it al-wajh, and we have to give a face, or the white face, and to lose a face, or the black face. So black face or to lose a face is negative, and that's through certain actions that are denounced by the whole community. So that would give a black face. So every person in the would lose a face if they did something wrong in that community. However, we have Hall and Hall talking about three nonverbal communication dimensions. He talked about the time, the space, the context. So if we want to understand any nonverbal communication message, we should look into these. And I would advise everyone to look at his books. His books are great, easy to read. He wrote his books actually at the beginning. He wrote them for the general public, in particular businessmen and so on, but he managed to produce excellent works that we still rely on and understanding the other and the cultures. So one of them was talking about the context. the context versus the message. So we have, as example, the Middle East, Japan, and Latin America, Mediterranean cultures rely so much on the context, not on the words, not on the message itself. The message won't be explicit as it is, as example, in the West. In the West, they have the message clearer, shorter, direct to the point, while in the Eastern countries, Japan, Middle East, Latin America, even Mediterranean cultures, Italy, they rely on the context, so you would understand things from the context of not necessarily from the words. So for an Arabic learner, as example, they should understand the culture in order to understand Arabic well, because it's not only about the message, i.e., understanding the meaning of the words. It's about understanding the culture behind that. Then we talk about the time, the monochronic versus polychronic. And here I can recall, while some of you might go through this slide, I might call a time when in the Arab world we say English time when we want to refer to promptness. So English time. And if we want to say that the time is relaxed, we might say Arab time. And for long, I've been using that until I went to the UK. And in one of the meetings, the department, they said, next meeting, it will be German time. And I asked a colleague of mine, what do you mean by German time? He said, German time means we start on time, not even a single minute late. And I told him, so you've been fooling us for long, thinking that English are prompt. And now you're telling us that Germans are prompt. They said, no, English, we have a layover of few minutes. So if we are late for 5 minutes, it's okay. Like today, as example, we're waiting for the rest of the group to come. In German, they won't do that. However, later on, I went to Japan and we had a very important meeting. And my English friend came to collect me, and we were about a bit late. Not late, actually, we were about 15 minutes early, but it would take us 10 minutes to reach the place of the meeting. So he said that we are late. I told him, no, we'll be there at 1 o'clock, and 1 o'clock is our meeting. He said, 1 o'clock is late in Japan. I said, how could that be? He said, we should be there 10, 15 minutes earlier, so we would exchange talk about the weather, how are you, this and that, and on time we start business. So that's Japan time. Okay, then space, the different space between different people and according to their closeness to the person, whether intimate, personal, social, or public distance. This is from the work of Liu Yang, and very nice book. She called it East versus West. And in her book, she tried to show us the differences between the East and West in different ways, in a very pictorial imagery messages. So in the West, i.e. in blue, and the East is in red. You can analyze it. The way of life is about individual, while in the East is about the group, the punctuality. We can see that promptness versus relaxing, being relaxed with time, because they don't call it non-prompt. They call it being relaxed with time. Meaning and i.e. opinion, and meaning direct messages versus indirect message, making contacts in the Eastern cultures. Everybody makes contacts with everybody else. So you might find in my mobile 1,000 names, while in a person who's in my position in the West, you might find 200 names or 150 names. Individualism, how do I view myself in the West versus in the East? If we had a party, or how do I set chairs or furniture in a party or in a meeting in the East versus West? Well, we like to view each other and see everyone in the room in the East, while in the West, in the parties, they would stand and talk to each other in groups of 2, 3, or 4 people. So in brief, this is how it looks. We have the different elements to nonverbal communication, from the chronomics to proxemics to kinesthetics, i.e. posture, gesture, facial expression, and so on, and the paralanguage. And we will concentrate on the postures, gestures, and facial expressions. So the nonverbal communication in the Arab culture and the case study of Qatar. In 2003, we had different countries signing conventions for safeguarding the intangible cultural heritage, and part of that was these type of cultures. There are very nice HSBC advertisements that you can find on YouTube explaining the differences between different cultures in this using the same sign. So if we use a sign in the Arab culture, it might mean something embarrassing in other culture. And it happened to many of us who travel to different countries, and we should be aware of these things because sometimes it might put us in a grave trouble. So when I thought about the nonverbal communication and how it should be designed, my book, and which elements to look at, this is how it looked at the beginning. It was crazy, actually, and it ended up having this book that you can see in front of you. I will share with you a short video while I sip. Oops. Okay. This is the first corpus of nonverbal communication in the Arab world. It's the largest culture, more than 400 people. It's very important to recall the culture of Qatar as well. It includes semiotics as the main part, and Qatar sign and very important for the future generation, diplomats, drama directors, and designers, etc., that could benefit this book, in addition to writers of stories. That was
yeah, sorry to interrupt. Just that it was very difficult to hear you because there was the music of the video underneath. So we didn't really hear what you said during the video.
Okay, so So what I said is that the book was very important because it recorded. So okay, I won't repeat the whole video, but so it has more than 400 entries about the Qatari nonverbal communication. It's the largest in the corpus in the world for any culture. I must say that I have some cultures, in particular Italy, were interested in that, but this is way larger. It's very important to preserve the identity of the people, to introduce the culture to the expats, the diplomats, the directors of cinema, movies, the designers of advertisements, and the novelists and other people who are interested in introducing the culture. I hope that it was clear. Where it started, well, all great works of the 20th century started in a garage, and I was not an exception. So my work started from the garage of my late father, Allah yarhamu, as we say in Arabic. Actually, I was arranging things, tidying things up after his death, 20 years of his death, and out of a sudden I found a research of his. He was a researcher and teacher of Arabic for non-native speakers. So it was about the nonverbal communication in the Quran, and I thought that this is a good idea. However, I left it on the side until later on, while I was driving in Qatar, someone was speeding and he was giving me a dim light. For those who drive in the UK, they know that the dim light means the road is yours. So when I wanted to drive to go, he was about to hit me. And later on, I understood that in Qatar, it means something else. It means that don't come in my way. So I'm speeding and I won't let you take the road. So I went back and prepared my mind map and started working on the book. So that was the story of the book. However, I collected more than 700 entries about clothes, taking photos everywhere, going to different places, cafes, gatherings, festivals, watching people closely, trying to pay attention to every detail. And if we look at the outfit of men, each outfit would mean something else. So as example, if I would borrow from here, from Annotate, I would borrow this. Yeah. So open system preference, yes. Nope. Okay, so if I go to this, to the far, is this far right? This is far right. Yeah, can you see this? Yeah, to the far right, this is very official dress. While if I go to this in the middle, this is way of expressing that you are not in a very formal dress. This is for shepherds. This is for seamen. This is in the winter, and Bedouins might get dressed like this. This is in the at home. It's like a pajama. So people won't go out with short-sleeved garment. Okay, as for we have different dresses, and as example, a lady with the battula, which is started to lose its place in the community. Battula was for the married ladies. This is more of a Bedouin culture to have this niqab, and girls normally in the past used to be exposing their faces until they get married or they grow older in the community. Qatari greetings, or the greetings in the, this is a Gulfian greeting, this is general Arab greeting, or the rest are general. For the ladies, they might not shake hands, they might show that out of respect to the person, they would put their hands on the chest, as we see during Corona, that these signs came to the culture. Welcoming, eating with your hand, or eating with a spoon. If we have a look at this, there is a whole culture around food, culture of science, how to accept the cup, how to return the cup. If you want more, you return it as is. If you don't want more, you shake it, or some people might cover it from the top, so they might cover it this way. Obviously, it would be way smaller, as you see in the photo. Saying, expressing your readiness to do something, you might point to your eye, or lay your hand on the top of your head, saying ala rasi or min ayuni. So that could be coupled with an expression, or it could be left without the verbal expression. And it would mean that I'm ready at your service, or at your disposal. Pronouns, you could start from I or we, as a group, we, and it would be always bad to point to someone as you in one finger. You might need to address people with all hands stretched, because it's not nice to point to someone with one finger. It depends, obviously, on the context. Now, adjectives, could we communicate by adjectives as well? Yes. Tall, short, fat. And the lady at the bottom here, she's signing pregnant, or thin. And sometimes they would say ضعيف مثل النخلة, thin like a palm tree. Okay, or beautiful, closed, and here to show the beauty of the eyes, which is very important in the Arab culture. Well, you have عيون واسعة, i.e. wide eyes, or عيون لوزية, almond-shaped eyes. So that's to show how beautiful the eyes of, normally they would refer to a lady, and that's common between ladies. Or clever, or if you say this way, it's been borrowed, this one, but this is crazy, and this is crazy, and it's used as well. خرطي, i.e. it's waste, it's nonsense. They might say خرطي, and this is for a sign of, as example, in the West, we might pull the collar to show that how well-dressed a person is. In Qatar, because they don't tell, or we might pull the jacket on inside words, while in Qatar they might use it with their long dress. Attributive adverbs, as example, up to my neck, i.e. upset, like my brother. Married, this is to swear that I would shave my mustaches, because mustache in the Arab world and in the Gulf as well, it's a sign of honor for the man. So swearing by someone mustache is very important. Even if you don't have a mustache, you still swear by your mustache, which is funny. Other adverbs, على الخشم, at your disposal, or من الرقبة, from my neck, i.e. you would get what you're asking for, or this is common, that this is cheap. Verbs, to stop someone, stop, or to order the check in a restaurant, to stop someone from talking, stop talking, to thank God for something. So you would kiss the inner of your the inner side of your hand, then you place it on your forehead, or you ask someone. As example, Italians might feel that this is embarrassing, but in the Arab world, if you say to someone like this, it depends. If it's a relaxed atmosphere, you're asking him to wait, or if you're upset, it's as if you're telling them, I'll show you, wait for me. So semiotic clues, you would recognize people from their appearances. The beards, it would tell you a lot about an Arab. How do they have their beards? As example, this beard, it's related normally before the recent trend. It was related to a religious person to have it dirty beard like mine. It's just a professional or a person who wishes to have a beard and doesn't dare to go any further, like this guy who's very stylish. This is stylish normally for younger people. It doesn't work with older people in their 50s or 60s. It doesn't give them a good face in the community. Or clean shave. Many professionals started to like clean shave as well, but many Arabs still like dirty beard because they don't want to lose their beard. To have this way, this is for a dasa, a guy who shows that I don't care and doesn't want to show any respect to the society, so might go this way. But this is as example for someone who's in grief, lost someone, or someone in his family is ill. This is a guy, professional, going to his work, having a cobra-like headdress, and this is the professional, official way of having the dress. The variants to consider. I would show you this, and I would give you take a break while you watch it. This is Japanese.
It's nice.
As you've seen, well, this is clash of cultures. The way that guy wanted to show his gratitude and thanks in a Japanese way. So, well, if you dressed in an Arab dress, you cannot have both. So, what does it mean to have that Japanese youngsters having this 45-degree bow? As you can see in the Japanese culture, this is respectful bow. This is not only salute bow. So each culture would develop its own expressions. So Japanese, when I started learning Japanese a few months ago, I learned a lot about the Japanese culture that I didn't know in my visits to Japan. So back to these cultures, this nonverbal communication, it's part of our daily communication nowadays. So I would send to people a lot of these nonverbal communications as emojis. So the personal space, we respect it a lot in the Arab world, especially with ladies. Intergender relationship should be observed. So we don't tend to get any close to ladies. We give them their own space. Unless the person is close to us, we don't come closer. So we respect the space, the personal space, and we call it hima. It's like the king's space. The regional variants, we have different variants, the Bedouin and the urban. Amongst the urban cultures, people might kiss cheeks, while the Bedouins try to touch noses by each other. This is, by the way, it's common in New Zealand as well and in other cultures. Gender variant. So what you see in framed in blue, this is the guys signs. Girls won't do that at all. While what you see framed in pink, that's the girls signs, because never you would see a guy holding his arms in front of him as a pregnant, or talking about the beauty, or celebrating that way. It's a shame to do these things. And the one in green, it's common between both, and not only these, a lot others. Seniority variant in the Arabic culture, as we said, Arabic culture is monochronic. Arabic culture is polychronic culture that respects seniority as well. And seniority means that the older people would have their respect shown, and shown clearly in the society, and it should be shown by younger people. Vanishing NVCs, these are some of the vanishing NVCs. As you see, this guy who's holding his finger like this, that's mean that's against your wish, I would do this. And the taboo variant, something that I wish to do, but I won't dare to do as an Arab. Not now, probably after I retire, I might do a book about the taboos, the taboo variants, and the different gestures in the Arab world, because that's about conservative societies, the culture of shame, ثقافة العيب. In the Arabic culture, people tend to preserve their face because they don't want to be stigmatized in the society. However, these, if they would be performed, they might be performed by younger people, not by older people. And in the during the coronavirus thing, we've seen, this is an interview in March that I had with a Russian news company, and it was about whether we would lose and abandon our traditional noses greetings. Actually, although people preserve these, observe the social distancing, but I believe that people would get back to what they used to do in the past. And thank you so much. I finished. Thank you. I hope that I finished on time, Roberta.
Thank you very much. Yes, that's absolutely fine. Yeah. Let me just stop the recording.